Hello, everyone, and welcome to the In-Demand Major webinar series. I'm Missy DeBoer, and I'm the Director of Campus Admissions at Northwood University. I'm also going to be your moderator tonight as we look at the major of sport management. One thing I do want to point out to you is that you're going to have a chance to chat your questions. You're just going to use the chat box on YouTube. Some people call it the comment box. Whatever you want to call it, that's okay. Just make sure you're typing those questions in throughout, and we'll make sure we answer them at the end of the session tonight during our dedicated Q&A. We are very excited you are taking the time to learn more about why Northwood University is a special place and potentially your future home. Thanks for exploring this in-demand major webinar series with us. Your major will describe your specialty and your expertise. At Northwood, you will start experiencing classes in your major your first year. All Northwood majors feature a common business core. This core is what really helps our graduates be well-rounded leaders in any organization or industry. The common business core is also going to assist you with dual majors, minors, and areas of competency to clearly define you and your interests. Most great business schools offer specialty or core business courses. So what makes Northwood University a different and better choice? Our faculty. We have great faculty who really care about their students. Our faculty leverage their business and life experiences to mentor and coach students. Northwood is a place where students feel connected and supported. Northwood embraces a philosophy called the Northwood Idea. We believe in the power of free markets and entrepreneurial leadership to improve society and quality of life for everyone. You will learn more about this code of ethics, which most people feel is a breath of fresh air. The code champions freedom, freedom for all to create opportunity, and recognizes responsibility for self and community. The third key advantage is experience. We encourage our students to get out into the field and get their hands dirty, practicing the theories and concepts from the classroom. Our students compete, plan signature events, and pursue internships and projects that add to their personal and professional profiles. Northwood students are driven and passionate about becoming entrepreneurial leaders, and they help each other improve. Northwood graduates earn a personal advantage that leads to positive impact in our global society. Tonight, we're going to focus on sport management, but Northwood has over 20 different business majors. The in-demand webinar series will take place until December 17th, and we'll cover all of the majors. With that, we'll jump into our webinar tonight. We have three key areas that we're going to focus on. First, we're going to talk about the major and what makes it unique. Then we will bring in a Northwood student who will give you a real look at what it's like to be in the major. And finally, we will wrap it up with next steps. So without further ado, I would like to introduce to you Professor Augustin. Hi, Professor.
Hi, Missy. Thank you. So yes, I am the chair of the sport management department, and I'm going to look forward to talking to you guys today. We're going to start with a little bit of the sport industry overview. So in recent years, the sport industry has undergone a lot of expansion. We see this not only in individual sports like golf and tennis, where we're seeing more events each year and more tournaments added, but we're also seeing this in team sports as well. You see this in the NHL with the most recent addition of the Vegas franchise, but also starting next year with the Seattle franchise. We see this in minor league sports as well. Minor league baseball has always been a large market or a large proportion of franchises, but in basketball with the rise of the big three, and we're seeing that league expand. And then in football, we're seeing multiple minor league teams also be created that ultimately lead to a lot more employment opportunities. College sport has always been a large segment of employment, but with the move now, or the inevitable move that it seems like, with the ability for collegiate student athletes to be compensated for their name, image, and likeness that you may have heard about in the news recently, we're going to see that that employment sector increase even further, because when that becomes common practice, these student athletes are now going to be in need of marketing managers to help them find endorsements and to be able to build their brand. And then ultimately, the sport industry is projected to see a 7% increase in the next decade, where that's above the national average. And even more so, we see that how it's been impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic, but this very positive outlook will show that that is really a temporary setback and a very positive outlook in going into the next decade. So then I'm going to transition now into, there's a lot of sport management programs, so why Northwood specifically? And some of the real, the key aspects of Northwood is that you're going to leave here with an increased network and real sport industry experience. So we have a lot of industry connections here, not only in our alumni network, which is very loyal and very passionate, but also through our faculty members and other staff members at Northwood who have a lot of industry connections with the sport world. Our alumni are very passionate. They love to give back and they love to come back to campus. We do the sport management symposium every year. It's completely student ran. It's run by our student association. And what that is we bring real current sport employees to campus, and we have them sit down with our students. We do roundtables with them. They share a meal with them. And then in the afternoon, they do a career fair. And often that leads to internships and or employment opportunities upon graduation. Ultimately, though, not just in building your professional network, but when you leave Northwood, you will leave with real sport work experience. You will leave with not just, again, that network, but you're going to leave with a built-up resume through not only the internship and the practicum experiences that are required and built into the program. Some of our course programs also, our course curriculums have experiential learning built in. And also, we have a lot of volunteer experiences that are offered to our students. The Dow Tennis Classic is a professional tennis tournament that takes place in Midland every year. The Dow Great Lakes Bay Invitational is a professional golf tournament that takes place in Midland every year. The Saginaw Spirit are a minor league hockey team that is nearby. The Great Lakes Loons are a minor league baseball team that is in Midland. And we always see our students getting these volunteer experiences. In addition, we have the Northwood Athletic Department, which a lot of our students work with in some capacity. Now, digging even deeper into our course experiences and how we have that experiential learning in our courses themselves. The first one I'll talk about, we're going to talk about two really today, is the Piston Sales Project. So the junior level sports sales course. What this project is the Piston sales staff. Typically, we have two of their sports sales managers and then two of their account executives come up to Midland and do a full day's worth of their actual onboard sales training that they give to their entry-level employees. And then throughout the semester, our students then sell regular season Pistons tickets for the Detroit Pistons in coordination with these professionals. And then we get incentivized, our students do, with not only autographed merchandise when they sell, but also with meetings and mock interviews and lunches or sales workshops with the hiring managers of the Detroit Pistons, which often have led to internship and full-time employment offers to our students. In our sport event management course, our students completely design, create, and run a sport tournament of their choosing. They do step-by-step. They're oversaw by the faculty members, and the faculty go through each step with them. But the students run the event, and they end up creating this tournament so that they can truly see what all goes into a sport event, and they can say that they've put on and run a sport event through this class. And then ultimately, as a broader subject, in each one of our courses, we have guest speakers who come from being current industry professionals who then talk to our students and not only get across what they did and what they wish they would have done in their undergraduate degree programs, which is beneficial for our students to hear. But ultimately, these are other steps that help build that professional network that can hopefully ultimately lead to employment upon graduation.
Well, thank you so much, Professor Augustine. This is incredible. So, and I think in the past, I've actually been contacted, before I came to Northwood, I was contacted by some students about buying Pistons tickets for a large group. So I can see how this could be very beneficial and real world experience for them so that they can build that skill set and that resume.
Absolutely.
Very exciting. So I am going to thank you, but I'm going to bring you back later. So don't worry, everybody. We're bringing him back. So if you want to ask questions, make sure you start typing those in for him. But right now, I'd like to bring another special guest on. And the special guest is Kelly Klebba. Kelly is a Northwood University sport management major, and she is going to share with you today what it is like to be a Northwood student in this major. Hi, Kelly. Welcome.
Hi, thank you. So I'm a sport management major and I have a business analytics minor. I came to Northwood for a campus visit and I came with my brother. I was about a sophomore in high school and I fell in love with it, just like everything about it. I've heard nothing but good things about Northwood and their business side, and I just realized that it was somewhere where I wanted to be. And then coming onto campus and coming into classes and just having Professor Augustine as a professor for the very first class, I just knew that Northwood was basically the place to be for myself and to better myself for the future. And with that, I've had 5 internships, and without the help of Professor Augustine, I would have without him pushing us and telling us what we need to do in order to be successful in the sport management industry, I probably would not have had one of those internships. So, and I'm also part of the Sport Management Association. I'm the president. I've been the president for that for about 3 years. My freshman year, I was told to come into that a lot, join the club, and I really didn't want to at first until I realized that it's something that I need to do in order to better myself for the future. And after my freshman year, I ended up being elected president, and I've been doing that for the past 3 years.
That sounds very exciting. So you mentioned that you have had 5 internships?
Yes.
What year are you?
I'm a senior.
Okay, so you're a senior and you've had 5 internships. So you must have started these right away.
Yes, I actually, my freshman year, I was approached by someone in one of our classroom buildings, and they told us to join. She told me to come to the symposium, and I ended up going, and I attended the career fair that the Sport Management Association puts on, and I ended up actually getting an internship my freshman year at that symposium and career fair.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yes.
So what has been your favorite internship experience?
With the Hurricane Junior Golf Tour, it's in Orlando, Florida, and I was their academy partnership coordinator. So I would call courses and academies and seeing if they would like to partner with us in order. And it was basically group sales for their golf league. And so I ended up doing that, and that was one of my favorite and internship experiences, and it led me to having a better outlook on what I want to do.
Well, that's awesome. So thank you so much, Kelly, for sharing your experiences with us today. We're so excited that you're here. I'm going to leave you on the screen, and I'm going to bring Professor Augustine back on for my absolute favorite part of the evening, and that is Q&A. So now that we have everybody on here and we're waiting for some of those questions to come in, I do have a few questions that I was hoping to kind of ask myself before we get started and jump in. So Professor, you mentioned that there was a sport club. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
The Sport Management Student Association?
Oh, that must be it. Yep.
Yep, absolutely. So that's something that we encourage all of our freshmen to get into and join and participate in. We meet every other week. And really what this association does, Kelly's the president of it, is our signature event is putting on that sport management symposium, but then ultimately they put on other sport events and tournaments throughout the year as well.
So Kelly, let me ask you. So you're the president of the association. So
Yes.
you must lead the sports symposium.
Yes. Yep. I will. I lead that, and I end up. And it's a couple months like of a process, and I will call and like reach out to like hiring managers and like just a bunch of like people within like the sport industry and seeing if they would like to come and attend. And we have roundtable discussions, and so it's like more of a one-on-one, like personalized like conversation with the people within the sport management industry. And with that, like it will lead to like internship opportunities. And so then they just like come say like how they got into the industry and what steps they took.
Wow, that's really fascinating. So I have another question. This one I think is going to be for you, Professor Augustine. Is there a good minor or another major that pairs well with sports management?
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to depend pretty greatly on what the individual students' real goals and outcomes are that they're looking to get into. So, for example, if you're looking into getting into maybe sport analytics, then a business analytics or data analytics minor or double major would be excellent. If you want to get into more of the hospitality side, then a hospitality management minor or double major. We have a lot of individuals who do double majors or a minor in marketing, in traditional marketing, because again, one of the largest employment segments in sports is the marketing umbrella, which really includes that marketing, sales, and member relations.
Very interesting. Kelly, you said you had 5 internships. Can you tell me about some of those?
Yeah, so my very first internship, like I said, I got like they offered me a position like right at the symposium that I went to my freshman year. I was working for United Shore Professional Baseball League as a marketing and promotions intern. My freshman year, I thought I really wanted to get into marketing and promotions and stuff, and like which is like the good thing about internships, you have many, so then you can realize what you want to do. And I realized that like marketing and promotions was not my thing. It's other people's things, but just not mine. And then I transitioned to this went along like with my minor. So I did like a project coordinator internship with the North American International Auto Show, and then I ended up going to the Dow Tennis Classic, which is in Midland, which we have in Midland, and I was the social media, I did like social media, and I was doing like press releases and just like everything like with that. And then after that, I ended up becoming the head intern there, and I just like oversaw everything like that the interns would do and just help them like work one-on-one with the tournament director and just make sure the tournament ran smoothly. And then from there, I realized that after doing like the Piston sales project and like before that, I realized that sales is something that I really wanted to do. And I went to Hurricane Junior Golf Tour and then ended up working in their sales department.
Wow, you've had a lot of different experiences that's probably helped build that resume.
Yeah.
So, Professor Augustine, I have another quick question for you. What are some of the fastest growing jobs in sport management?
The fastest growing jobs. So the largest segment of employment is absolutely in sales, it being an account executive or in ticket sales. But in terms of kind of another fast growing or a large segment, it would be in event management. There's a lot of jobs in various sports as tournament directors or in and around working with sporting events.
Well, thank you so very much. I really appreciate that. So when you think about the sport management field, and I know, Kelly, you had mentioned that you initially thought that you wanted to do something else. Was sport management your major as soon as you came to Northwood?
Yes. Yeah. So growing up, I just always wanted to work in sports. And so like I was always playing sports, and I just realized that there's literally nothing else that I'd want to do other than that. And then I was looking at other schools with sport management programs. And then I realized I did in-depth research, and I just realized Northwood was a really good school and basically essentially where I should be.
Jake, I'm wondering if you might be able to tell me, where do some of your graduates work?
Sure. Really all over. We have a lot of graduates who work not only within the state of Michigan, but end up all across the country. Just last year, we have an individual who's now down in Macon, Georgia, working for a baseball team in Macon. We have an individual from last year who's working at the Golf Association of Southern California, another one who's at the Vermont Golf Association. We have individuals, alumni who work for the Pistons, the Red Wings, the Tigers, the LA Kings, you name it, we got a lot of them.
Now, I know that Kelly has done a lot of internships. Can you explain to me, I think you have a practicum that you do. Can you talk to me a little bit about that? And what is the difference between a practicum and an internship?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. A practicum is a really just a miniature internship. So it's a 50-hour experience where it's more of an exploration of a field or a career path. So it's something that can even be job shadowing for a week, that you go and you just get a feel for whether or not this is something that you really want to do. And then whereas the internship is going to be much more in depth, that's going to be much longer, and it's going to be something that you're then actively working for a organization or an entity or an event where you're going to be doing much more substantial work.
So did you have one that your students do every year? Or quite often?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. I mean, most of our local sports here, we get year in and year out. The Dow Tennis Classic, which is a professional women's tennis tournament here in Midland. The Great Lakes Bay Invitational, which is a women's professional golf tournament here in Midland. The Great Lakes Loons, which is the minor league baseball team here in Midland. And the Saginaw Spirit, which is a minor league hockey team in Saginaw, always house interns for our students.
Do you, I think I remember, wasn't there a student that went to the Orange Bowl?
Yeah, absolutely. We have multiple students who go to the Orange Bowl every year. They work the Orange Bowl. They work the days prior and the events leading up to the bowl game, and then they get game passes to attend the game after they work the tailgate and the pregame show.
Wow. So what kind of things do they do at the Orange Bowl specifically? Because I would like to go.
Sure. Yeah. So they work not only during the game day, they work the pregame and the tailgate in the operations department, but the days prior, they lead the sailboat regatta, and they do the various events that the players and the community embrace that are part of the week leading up to the actual game itself.
Very good. So, Kelly, what is your goal after graduation?
My goal, I want to get a job in sales. I've been reaching out, I've been applying places. So hopefully, with everyone being on a hiring freeze at the moment, like with COVID, hopefully it all settles down and I can, I've been applying places. I've been keeping up with my, just my networks and my connections, just checking in, just seeing how everything's going on their side. So hopefully in sales, and then with that, I will continue on with sales. So,
is there a certain sport that you're hoping to work in?
Yeah, I'm a big baseball fan, but honestly, I don't really have a specific, maybe baseball or basketball, but I don't really have a preference.
So I just have one last question. Jake, is there an opportunity to take this degree outside of the United States, and what kind of places could people work?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you look at the rest of the world in terms of sport, you typically think of your more international sports. So you don't typically think of American football or really baseball, but you do see basketball. You absolutely see soccer, golf, tennis, throughout the world and in different countries. We have a number of international students who are sport management majors and who then some of which stay in the US and find employment, but others who go back to their home countries and find employment as well, whether it be at the Olympic level or whether it be in a professional franchise like soccer or basketball in a different country.
Oh, wow.
Mhm.
So, and I lied because Kelly, I have one more question for you. What has been your favorite project?
Like course-wise, the Piston sales project was my favorite. I really loved doing that, and just like, just getting out there and like speaking with people, and then that led to like me like having connections with the Pistons as well, which it was a really good project. That's one of my favorites that we have.
Well, wonderful. Well, thank you both so much for joining us tonight. And for the rest of you, here are your next steps. The first thing that we would like you to do is schedule a campus visit. We are still offering in-person visits, but we're also offering virtual. If you would like to come to campus for a personalized visit and tour, we are following all COVID-19 protocol and procedures. We would love for you to come and see our beautiful campus, experience the entrepreneurial spirit firsthand, meet a student like Kelly, and even a faculty member like Professor Augustin. And then the second thing we'd like you to do is to apply to Northwood if you haven't already. If you are a high school senior or a student interested in transferring to Northwood in the fall of 2021, just go to northwood.edu/apply. Thank you again for joining us tonight. If you are interested in other majors at Northwood, join us for any of the other webinars that we'll be having. If you missed the webinar for the major you're interested in, don't worry, they're all posted on YouTube, and all you have to do is search Northwood University Major Webinar Series. Thank you again for joining us, and have a fantastic evening.